Following the destruction of the Garden Nation of Japan, Constable Led Dent returns to his brutal beat on the Isle of Los Angeles. Desperate to escape from reality in a fever haze of designer drugs and virtual reality, he strikes at whatever target his employer, Mr. Flack, points him. But as he stalks the streets enforcing the corporate New World Order, Led is haunted by a spirit from the past. The Tokyo Ghost has come, and its arrival will force Led to come face to face with his addictions and rally what resistance is left in humanity in one final attempt to take the world back from the precipice of the apocalypse. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom here on YouTube. I am your host, Giovanni Menendez, and I am really excited. For the first time on this channel, I am actually reviewing a volume 2 of a book, something I promised way back in 2016, and finally I am here to talk about Tokyo Ghost Volume 2. Now this was an amazing ride. I am so sad that it's over. But before we get into it, I want to warn you guys, this review will contain spoilers because I will discuss the ending, I will talk about it, and what I think of the series overall. So if you have not read Tokyo Ghost, then do yourself a favor, go pick it up. It is fantastic, and if you're on the fence about it, you can check out my review on Volume 1. So let's do this. You know, this book is basically a huge metaphor on our dependency nowadays to technology. Tokyo, at the end of Volume 1, everything's in shambles and we don't know what's going on, and this picks up immediately afterwards, or I should say like I would like to think a few months after the end of Volume 1. We see Led, he's back in the streets of Los Angeles doing whatever work needs to be done, or whatever he is being called upon to do. At the start of the book, I thought it was pretty funny that he was after these terrorists that were sort of just doing like anti-Flack propaganda on TV, and they were really weird, eccentric, almost sexual characters. And by the way, this book, compared to the first volume, this one like upped the ante when it came to the raunchiness, because there's a bunch of scenes in there where I was like, wow, they really got away with publishing that on a comic book. That's weird. This is rated M for mature, so I don't recommend kids picking this up because it is actually pretty brutal and pretty risque on some panels, which I'm not gonna show just in case. You never know. Basically, we don't see a lot of it in the city of Los Angeles. The city just is not that important in this volume compared to the first one. That was one of my negatives. Apparently the series concluded for now. It has an ending, but it can continue. There are some loose threads here and there which allow it to continue. But that was one of my main gripes with the story. You do understand how shitty this world is that they're inhabiting, but aside from a few panels, you just see it at a glance. You don't actually live and breathe that city, and you don't see a lot of the characters inhabiting it. They're just going from point A to point B. And now we're flashing forward, I guess, a few months, so we still don't see a lot of the city. We just see Constable Dent going after these terrorists across the city in another fantastic speed chase scene, which are some of the best scenes ever, because I gotta commend Sean Murphy, because that guy can draw the shit out of sci-fi dystopian-ness. It's just spectacular. I already talked about it in Volume 1. I will say the same thing. If anything, the art just quadrupled in awesomeness since the first volume. In my opinion, 2016, one of the best looking comic books, hands down, Tokyo Ghost. Over too quickly, by the way. 10 issues. We could have used a little bit more exposition on certain characters and the world building overall. I wanted to see more of that, because in the first volume there were some moments that were really exposition heavy, which I really wanted them to continue. I felt like Volume 1 was just a tiny little bit confusing on some terminologies and some of the stuff that was happening, because you don't get the full sense, the full scope of what's happening in the world. But then when you start reading volume 2, it's straight on balls to the wall action and this epic quick resolution. So I would have preferred that. That was a little bit of a letdown from volume 1 to volume 2. Now that Tokyo is in shambles, Flack is just gonna get out of Los Angeles. He's going to board this huge epic ship, and he's going to Tokyo and like repopulate it and construct like a mega city of filth and debauchery. And Davy, we find out, like, aside from Flag, he is the main threat of this world. Later on, you find out what his true motivations are, which were a little disappointing, but at the same time were kind of interesting. We've seen those ideas before. Actually, now that I think of it, the main theme of Tokyo Ghost, the main story, is the character of Debbie and Dent coming together. These two characters that have known each other since they were kids. There is a genuine love and affection for each other. That genuine love that he has for Debbie really makes the character that much more interesting. Although I gotta say, with the characters of Tokyo, I didn't really get that much reading time with them, so I couldn't really like sympathize. Although I do get it, you know, their whole village was wiped out, everybody, a lot of people died and all that stuff. Kazumi, the character of Kazumi was so interesting, but she went away so quickly. Of course, now she's inhabiting more or less the essence of her inside of Debbie, and she's become like this super badass samurai chick with this red panda. I'm assuming Kazumi is basically like this incarnate version of Mother Nature and like this avatar for it, similar to something like Swamp Thing from DC Comics. I'm thinking that's probably what Remender was going for, and obviously you get this big clash of technology and cybernetics and all that stuff with nature. At the end of the day, even though Davy and his plan was basically to murder every single human being and transfer their conscience into this cyberspace that he was going to control, which is pretty stupid because we've seen these types of master plans before. You have these characters that are basically, you know what, we're gonna kill everybody because that's what everybody wants, but then you have the moral dilemma and you're like, no, because people have the option of free will. They have to decide what they want to do. You can't just decide for like millions and billions of people across the world. That sort of dilemma has been played out across so many shows and manga and anime and comic books and TV shows and all that stuff that it's nothing new. However, the presentation of it is really spectacular. You know, at the end of it all, I gotta say Tokyo Ghost really did an amazing job of presenting these star-crossed lovers, if you will, and their quest to find themselves in a otherwise trashy and ugly world that was not meant for them. It is a very broken and damaged world, and these characters are just trying to survive and just get rid of all this useless, senseless stupidity of technology and how it has taken over their lives. At the end, we do get a very satisfying conclusion. Everything happened the way it needed to happen, and the character of Debbie, she progresses so much throughout the story, and at the end she's still going forward. She's teaching all these characters to do new things. At the end, she's saying to Kazumi's son, she has to go forward and teach more people how to live a brand new life. So I found that to be a very enlightening moment. So yeah, Tokyo Ghost Volume 2, I highly recommend it. It is a fantastic read, super fun. I can't wait to see if Remender comes back and does more issues in this universe. It's pretty interesting. I don't know what you guys thought of Tokyo Ghost. Leave your comments down below. Tell me if you liked the series, what you loved, what you hated, and was it a satisfying conclusion to the series? Let me know down below. As always, like and subscribe to our videos. Hit the notification bell so you know when new videos are uploaded. And as always, you can follow me on your favorite social media platform, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and everywhere else in between. Just type a Week in Geekdom and I'm there for you guys. Alright, I gotta go. I have more stuff to read. I will continue posting more videos very soon, so thank you so much as always for subscribing. You guys are amazing. I love all of you guys. Thank you, and I will catch you on our next video.
Thank you for tuning in to another installment. You can keep the conversation going through your favorite social media platform. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, like our fan page on Facebook, and favorite our pics on Instagram. You can also write to us for feedback, suggestions, and such via aweekingeekdom@gmail.com. Until next time.
Story did stick the landing.